One of the things that we're trying to accomplish, and one of the beliefs that we have with this administration, is we want to make this a more affordable place to live. We don't want expensive water bills, we don't want expensive sewer bills. We hear it all the time, people are moving out because the cost of living here is too expensive. So we're trying to reduce that to attract people and attract businesses to come here. It's been brought up, it's a hot topic, the wheel tax. A lot of municipalities are adopting ordinances, adopting the wheel tax. I just want to say that I'm 100% against any wheel tax, as it goes against the principles and the philosophies we're trying to adopt here in terms of making this a more affordable place to live. So we want other municipalities to adopt the wheel tax, tax their residents more, with the hopes that we'll have more people interested in moving here. Getting back to the common complaint of our water and sewer rates. I know when I campaigned, and I believe when all the newly elected officials campaigned, we made another promise that we were going to address our water and sewer rates. And we've spent a tremendous amount of time, especially as it relates to the water, investigating and exploring our options. One of the options that we are considering right now is a possible sale of our water department. There's been a lot of questions about where we're at in that process. We are currently in the appraisal process of the sale of our water, which means no final decision has been made. Under Indiana law, before any municipality can even begin to consider offers for the purchase of a water system, you have to have 3 appraisals done. 2 of those are by 2 disinterested engineering companies, and a third one is by a real estate appraiser. The 2 disinterested engineering companies have both completed their appraisals. One of the appraisals came in at $16,926,000. Another appraisal came in at just over $21 million. So what those 2 engineering appraisers have to do is meet and try to come to one final appraised value of our water department. We are also maybe a week or 2 away from getting, we expect to be a week or 2 away from getting the results of the engineering appraisals, the final result, the final agreed amount, and we're hopefully just a week away or so from getting our real estate appraisal values back. Once we get those back, we bring it to the council's attention, and they make a decision based on the appraised amounts as to whether or not it makes any sense to start entertaining offers for the sale of our water company. We have at least 2 companies that are interested in buying our water plant. We feel strongly that if it gets to that point, to where we start fielding offers, that we will get an offer for the purchase of our water department that will do several things. Number 1, it will solve a lot of our current financial problems. Instead of being constantly in debt and our general fund being overdrawn, we will actually have a surplus of money, which opens the doors to a lot of things. It allows the city to move forward a lot quicker. In addition to that, the offer will also include a reduction in our water rates. A lot of people don't realize, one of the most common objections to a sale of the water department is, well, we're going to lose control of our rates and our water rates are going to go up. Well, the fact is that the 2 companies that are interested in buying our water plant, their water rates are actually lower than our water rates as we pay now. And so part of the proposal would be that our rates would revert to their rates, which would result in a reduction in our water rates. Another part of the proposal is going to be at whoever purchases expense. They will be removing the water tower that currently sits on the property where the old city hall used to be. That water tower affects the value of that property. It's hard to get somebody to come in there and purchase that and develop that property with that water tower being there. So Indian American Water is one of the companies that has expressed interest in the purchase of the water. They used to sell, we used to buy water from Indian American Water, and so they're already tied into our water system. They would not need that water tower. It wouldn't have to be moved. It would just have to be taken down. In addition to the water tower being removed, another benefit, we would receive approximately $350,000 to $500,000 a year in property tax revenue. As if we sell the water to a private company, they will be paying property taxes, and they'll probably be the highest paying taxpayer in the city of Lake Station. So those are some of the benefits of a possible sale. And there are some negative consequences as well, losing control of our rates. But again, as we sit here today, we are in control of our rates, and our rates are higher than some of these private companies. But before anything is done or any decision is made on the sale of our water, we are required to, and even if we weren't, there's going to be several meetings open to the public in which we'll hear public opinion, and we'll also hear all the pros and cons about whether it's a good idea to sell the water or not. So no decision's been made. We expect soon, maybe within a week or so, to start this process of fielding offers and then having public meetings on whether or not it's a good idea to accept these offers. Ultimately, it's going to come down to whether the city council feels that it's a good idea to move our city forward. And so that is kind of the status of our water department. If anybody has any questions about that at the end, we'll address those questions. We also have issues with our sewer system and our sewer bills. We haven't spent as much time on our sewer system yet as we have our water system. Just for the record, we are not even exploring the possibility of selling our sewer system. We are evaluating our system, and we're going to make sure that we're being efficient, and that the rates that our residents are being charged are directly related to the cost of providing those services. We just did get mandated by IDEM, Indiana Department of Environmental Management, to do about $4,250,000 in infrastructure repairs to our sewer system. The first and biggest project, which is a $1.2 million project, is the replacement of an 18-inch force main that runs a distance of just under 3,000 feet, and that project is already underway in terms of the design of it. We're hoping to break ground before the year ends and start construction. And we owe a big thank you to our Congressman, Pete Visklosky, as he obtained for us for this project $1 million in grant money, which was desperately needed at this time due to our financial situation. If it wasn't for that money, we would never have been able to complete this project. So thank you, Congressman. Even with that $1.2 million project, we still have $3 million in infrastructure repairs to do to our sewer system. We're going to continue in the future to apply for grants to help offset a lot of the cost of the future construction. They are available. We're going to be aggressive in applying for those grants. Regardless of whether we get the grants or not, we are mandated. It is an order by the Indiana Department of Environmental Management to do the infrastructure repairs. They're needed. They're going to be good for the city. And so those projects are going to be going on for the next 3 or 4 years. Every time you turn around, you're probably going to be seeing a new sewer-related project underway. Another issue that was talked about at length that needed improvement is the lack of transparency, or to be more transparent. At this point, we acknowledge we're nowhere near where we need to be in terms of transparency. We have been having extra meetings. Normally, city council meetings are every other week, 7 o'clock every other Thursday. We have been having council meetings every Thursday just to hear from the residents and to be open and available to our residents. One of the reasons we do it is to be more transparent. In addition to that, we've been talking about a website. Our website has been being designed for months now. It was already scheduled to be up and running due to some technology glitches and changes in IT service providers. We've had a couple of hiccups that basically a couple times I think we've had to start over. So we are cautiously optimistic that our website is going to be filled with a lot of information that's going to be updated regularly. We're hoping that that's going to be up and running by the beginning of July. At that time, some of the things that are going to be on the website are the actual agendas, the ordinances, the minutes from the council meetings. If you're interested about what's going on in the council meeting, not only are you able to go online and see the agenda at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, but you'll also be able to see the actual written ordinances that have been passed or that are being presented to be passed, so you'll have more information before you come to council meetings if you have questions. So that should be tremendously helpful. Hopefully, again, that'll be up and running by July 1st. We are very, very close to having that done. In addition to that, I know we've done in the past, and all of our residents have liked the monthly newsletters that have been sent out. We plan on starting that back up. Probably in the July water and sewer bill that's sent out, you should have a newsletter. That also is going to be filled with useful information. And if we're having a month where we're getting a lot of questions about a certain issue, special pickup fees or something like that, we're going to make sure that those we have some memos and some information included in those newsletters. So those are all things that we plan on doing sooner rather than later in an effort again to be more transparent. We've also heard and several times at several council meetings about our phone system and the many issues that we have with our phone system. I can assure you we are doing our best with what we have to work with to improve that system to make it easier for our residents to get in contact with the city officials and the department heads they're trying to get in contact with. Hopefully within a couple of months there'll be a noticeable difference and a noticeable change with our phone system. We had some issues going on with our phones that prevented us for 5 months from even doing anything with the phones. So that was one of the reasons for the delay. We are now actively working on improving our phone system. Another big campaign promise that I'm proud to say we're already well on our way to accomplishing is for Lake Station, you could become a member of the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission. I think at our first council meeting, we passed the ordinance for us to become a member of the commission. Us being members will allow us to be trained on the code of shared ethics and shared values to allow us to be better public servants. We have 2 commission appointments. Karen Curtis is here, she's one of them. Very active in this. Thank you again, Karen, for this is an unpaid position that Karen has volunteered for. And we also have Carol Urban, who's also volunteered. We have 2 appointments who, on June 23rd, July 13th, and July 19th, are going to be going to the training seminars that are being held by the commission to get trained on ethics and good government. After they're done receiving their training, they are then, on a volunteer basis, going to come to our city and train all of our employees on the code of shared ethics and values and good government. So we're hopeful and optimistic that we will be starting this training sometime in August. Based on what's happened in the past, I feel strongly, as well as many others, that this is an important step in the right direction. In terms of economic development, under the circumstances, I'd say we're off to a decent start with economic development. Dunkin' Donuts will be, before the summer ends, beginning the demolition of the old Carpet Cuts building on 51, and shortly thereafter, we'll be building a new Dunkin' Donuts there. So I'd like to make sure we give Dunkin' Donuts a warm welcome and thank them for considering Lake Station to bring their business. In addition to Dunkin' Donuts, we have Lee Enterprises, which is a excavation and demolition company that'll be building offices and starting construction sometime this summer. Also, Flying J, they're going to be expanding their business, building a new public access compressed natural gas fueling station. This project is expected to create 11 new green jobs. In addition to that, this is going to help our environment by selling natural gas that reduces pollutants and gas emissions. Another big project that we have going on in our city that's going to help with economic development is the brownfield grants. The city of Lake Station is the beneficiary of the brownfield grants. These grants provide funding that allow us to identify and remediate potential hazards and toxins that exist on properties that, but for those toxins being there, would be ripe for commercial development. One example is our street department and that whole area along Deep River there. We are currently in the process of taking advantage of those grants and working towards getting the funding to remediate the dump and the leaky storage tanks that are sitting under the city hall. In addition to the city directly benefiting from these brownfield grants also are going to benefit private property owners that are in locations that are good for commercial development. And what the process entails, there's going to be several meetings, several public meetings, I think 5 of them coming up in the near future. I would encourage all of you to attend these meetings, because what these meetings do is try to identify properties right now, old gas stations, for an example, that might have hazardous conditions that make it hard to sell those properties. But for those conditions, if those properties didn't have those conditions, they'd be in great locations for somebody to build a new business. And so what this brownfield grant opportunity does is allow for these sites to be tested at no expense to the owner. And then the engineering firms, they help and assist the property owner and point them in the right direction and line them up with attorneys. And there's a loophole somewhere in Indiana law that puts insurance companies on the hook to pay for these. These could be insurance companies that insured the property 10 years or so ago. So it gives the property owners an opportunity at no cost to them to not only find out about whether the site's contaminated, and if it is, a good possibility to get that problem remediated at no cost to them. This has been done in several other communities, and they've experienced tremendous results and a lot of economic growth from that. So we're looking forward to, at this point forward, after we have the public meetings, one of the purposes of the public meetings is to identify these potential sites. We already have a list of about 30 of them. After we identify and decide which ones to approach, we're then going to approach the owners of those properties and invite them to participate in this grant opportunity. We haven't had anybody say no yet, so we've already done 2 properties, or two properties are already in the works, so we're hoping to do at least 20 more. So even if we have a 50% success rate, we have 10 more marketable properties that weren't marketable before that are in prime development areas. So we're looking forward to taking full advantage of the brownfield grant. And again, recognizing the importance of economic development, we are also going to continue to work towards being a business-friendly community, a more affordable place to live, and we're going to be proactive trying to recruit businesses to come to Lake Station, emphasizing our proximity to 8094, I-65, the toll road, Lake Michigan, and adjoining waterways that run through our city like Burns Ditch. It's also been brought to the city's attention, there might be some of you out here that live in these areas. We have several areas in the city that are having flooding problems. And this is all the way from the east end to the west end. A lot more than we should. I've been working with the engineer. The engineer right now is doing drainage studies all across the city in hopes of identifying what the problems are and coming up with a plan to fix these problems. After these drainage studies have been completed and the findings are in, it's our intention to apply for funding to fix these flood issues through the Calumet River Basin Development Commission. This is a commission that our residents pay taxes into, and we have not received a dime of any financial benefit from this commission. So we intend to be aggressive and to apply for funding that is out there and available to us. Having seen the last report from the Calumet River Basin Development Commission, as we sit here today, they have over $11 million available to use for projects to help with flooding issues. And so we have a meeting next week with engineers who've done studies on Deep River and with the commission to begin the application process. So we're looking forward to hopefully obtaining some funding and addressing some of the flooding issues that we're dealing with at this point. Having discussed all these issues that we've discussed and the progress that we are making addressing these issues, we still recognize that we have a lot of room for improvement. There are a lot of areas we can do a better job, and in time I will assure you that that will happen. We have a new administration that's been in office for 5.5 months, has inherited a mess, and has had to deal with a huge challenge of trying to provide the same level of city services with a lot less manpower than we had 9 months ago. Having said that, I truly believe under the circumstances, our city employees have done an outstanding job. I truly believe we're doing more now with less manpower, which to me shows we have city employees who really care about our city. Our employees are being asked to do more, and nobody's complaining about it. I personally would like to thank all of our city employees for the efforts that they've put in so far, and I'm looking forward to working with each of you and all of you as we move forward as a city. And again, I want to encourage all of our residents to stay involved in city business. Continue to come to council meetings. I believe we've probably had above average compared to the attendance we've had in the past. We've had above average attendance. We've had residents that have come to the meetings, shared their thoughts, voiced their concerns. We encourage you to continue to do that. The information is tremendously helpful. And we do need to continue to hear from you. I want to thank also all of our city council members. We've been putting in extra time, having these extra meetings, putting in extra time, doing extra work, making sure that we hear the residents' complaints. And we've also, I believe, created an environment at these meetings where our residents feel comfortable coming in and asking questions and voicing their concerns and know that there's not going to be any retaliation or talk back from them. So I think we understand part of our job is to take and accept criticism and hear the complaints of our residents and do what we can to try to fix them. So to sum it all up, as we sit here today, we still have many challenges and many issues that need to be addressed. We really believe, slowly but surely, we're moving in the right direction. I personally want to thank everybody for their patience. I don't know how many times a week I say, please have some patience, but it's been said a lot. But everybody has been very patient and understanding of our situation. And also want to stress, hopefully that patience continues. We do have a long road ahead of us. We're still in the process of gathering information. Again, we've been in 5.5 months. And also making efforts and doing some things at the same time to try to continue to move the city forward. In another effort to improve transparency, normally these kind of states of the city addresses, I think, are done once a year. We've had talks, Dave, with the chamber about doing these more often, especially now in the first couple of years at least, because we're finding out a lot of information every day. And so the plan is to have another state of the city address, which will hopefully be a lot more detailed. We'll have a lot better information for you sometime in 6 months or so, maybe the beginning of December. In addition to that, I would hope that nobody has heard that they've attempted to try to come to City Hall, to my office, to meet with me, and have been denied the ability to do that. I want to reiterate, I've said from day one, I have an open door policy. Anybody that has an issue, that wants to discuss anything, concern, complaint, compliments are good every once in a while. Feel free to stop by the city. You will not be denied. If I'm not there in a meeting at the time that you stop by, you will be able to schedule an appointment and you will be able to come in and talk and voice your concern or opinion on whatever it is that's related to the city. So I would encourage that to continue to happen. One thing we are going to try to start doing also is maybe once a month going around to different precincts, and we're going to get with the council members going around to different precincts and having maybe a meeting once a month where the residents are allowed to come in and voice their concerns, either at City Hall or any other place that's in your district. So hopefully we'll get that started going forward. All this is an effort to be more transparent. There's been a lot going on, and we're doing the best we can. We're trying to be more transparent, although sometimes it might not seem that way. But just keep in mind that everything we do it because we have the best interests of the city of Lake Station and our residents in mind. We all know that the special place Lake Station is, and that it's going to continue to be. And I look forward to working with all of you to continue to make positive change. And I want to thank you again for your time. And